Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Hollow's Garage. So in the last episode, you saw me get the Corvette into this bay, where I have access to the engine hoist, and I have access to a lot more room to walk around, and I can jack the car up in different spots. And I'm not in the tight enclosed area in the other bay. So now, whenever I'm ready to pull the engine, I can just pull everything out, set it aside, pull this out, pull the Corvette Firebird in, and I can go ahead and start swapping. Well, I'm not going to do any work on it today. I ended up picking up some extra hours at work for overtime, and I will not be home until let's see, I just worked today, so I have to work tomorrow. Well, today's Tuesday. I work tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So I believe Saturday I will start, and this time I will actually go through the entire process upon taking apart the plenum, the intake tubes, and because there are two bolts that are actually surprisingly hard to get to. I will actually this time, instead of just setting it on the cowl and potentially losing bolts, I will use magnetic trays, and I will actually sort things out. But main reason why I'm recording right now, parts came in. Got a whole ass box. I'll just turn on this light here, clear an area, and we can look through some stuff. I haven't been in the shop since I figured out that no matter what I did, the car was not going to sit there and run on its own. Now, granted, I could just replace the fuel filter and possibly just the fuel pump, and it would be fine. Possibly. But I figure it's best to go ahead, get all new. I ended up texting the guy here about 3-4 days ago, asking him if he knew exactly how long this Corvette sat. And he said he did not, which is fine. But let's get on in here. I'll set you up. I'll set you up here. Why not? All right. This one came in here a little bit about a couple days ago. Actually, yesterday. I was actually off yesterday, but got a Fram fuel filter, brand new. This is what came in today. We've got our new pump. I'm skeptical about this, just for the simple fact that it is a race fuel pump. I have no clue if bada bing, bada boom. Warning, anti-theft device. We don't have great luck with anti-theft. Well, this is the first time I've had this open, so let's check it out. It is the Acel, part number 75169. This will come with, ooh, it even comes with a new oh shit. It has a different connector. Well. Oh well. I guess I'm going to learn how to cut and solder in a fuel tank. But right here we have the actual pump, which is actually really nice. And this is actually it's a 500 thruster series fuel pump in tank. Supports up to 700 horsepower at 0.55 BSFC and 900 horsepower at 0.5 BSFC. I don't know what BSFC stands for. I really don't. But got our pump. And here as well, we have a little hose. This, I believe, goes inside the tank onto this spout here to connect into the fuel sending the actual fuel pump assembly, which is why we come with hose clamps. And then we've got our fuel strainer sock. It also comes with installation, instructions, compatible fuels, race fuel, ethanol, 8085, electrical systems check. Before attempting to install this fuel pump, you must check the factory wiring for the proper wire gauge thickness that supplies power to the pump. The factory fuel pump wiring may not be sufficient to handle the current draw of this high-performance fuel pump. We recommend the use of an aftermarket wiring kit. If you use the existing electric fuel pump connector in your tank, you must ensure that the polarity is correct for your new pump. If necessary, repin the existing connector or use the included connector. If you use the new connector included in the kit, make sure to solder all the connections and use shrink tubing to protect the connection. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to be possibly setting myself on fire. Yay. But this was nice. It came with everything I needed. I went ahead and spent the extra, like, $60 it was going to be to get this one. So in the end, I do have a good, because I know the one in the Firebird is not going to be set up to run this high output of fuel pressure. So this will be nice because I can just take this out. And it should, don't quote me, but it should go right into the Firebird, which is out there. But along with that, we've got 8 individual packaged, brand new fuel injectors. Right there we are. Awesome. That is beautiful. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with new locking rings, so I do have to be very careful when I take this apart so I don't mess up those rings. Apparently, they're very easy. But yeah, we got 8 fuel injectors, new fuel filter, and a new fuel pump. Now, I'm going to discuss real quick exactly the process we're going to do. First things first. We're going to get up under here, under the hood, and get things apart. That's going to be the most time-consuming part of it all. We knock that out so that the easiest part is next. Once it's apart, I will go ahead and I will get the injector rail out. I'll bring injector rail over here, and we will rebuild that afterwards. Then we will come back here. The fuel filter is located right under here. Right underneath of this panel here, right underneath of the car. I will have to take 2 wrenches, break those fittings loose, unscrew them, get them off. While I have that out, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the air compressor, blow out the line from the fuel filter out up to the fuel rail. Then, before I put the new fuel filter in, we're going to come back here. I will get this panel back off, get this fuel pump back out, or get the assembly out anyway. Bring it around here, possibly opening this door to have ventilation just in case I do set myself on fire. We'll do it right here on the floor for now. Floor is actually clean, so that's a plus. But we will go out there, basically get the fuel pump all redone, resoldered, rewired. Because this is a different connector. So that's going to be fun. So I think I'm just going to cut because the wires come up through the fuel pump assembly. So I think I'm just going to cut them inside the pump and then solder them there. A lot of people are going to go, don't do that. But I'm going to have to. But all of that will entice what's going to happen. After I get the fuel pump assembly out, I will blow out each of the lines. They're pretty sure there are 3. Your fuel return, your fuel feed, and the fuel vapor thing. I can't remember exactly what it's called. but it goes up to like an evap canister that's like over here. Yeah, over there. But after we get all of that dealt with, I will reassemble. I'll blow out that fuel feed line and blow out the return as well. And then I will take a short break probably at that point, and I will reassemble this, get it reinstalled. I will come over here. I will reinstall the fuel filter. Then the hardest part of last, which will be the fuel rail. We will do the fuel rail last for, assembling, just for the simple fact that it's going to be the most difficult it's going to be a lot easier putting back together than it is taking apart. Because I have to take, I think I left the tool over here somewhere. Yeah, I had to take a really, no, it wasn't that. I don't know where to put it, but it was a really messed up extension that was really effed up. But for now, I'm going to stop for today, get some rest, and hopefully on Saturday I will see you bright and early, and we'll get to work. All right, so it is currently Friday night. I just got off work, went out to the house, spent time with the family for a minute. I didn't record it, but I did get the hood off of it. Pretty simple. You gotta take one of the nuts off of the headlight assembly, which is really weird. It's bolted from the underside. It's a whole assembly that flips, but for some reason on this it wasn't flipping. I don't know why, but from what I can see, it is vacuum powered. But anyway, moving on. It is Friday. I'm going to go ahead and get started on it. Just for the simple fact that I want to have some time with the family this weekend. If I can get some stuff done on it now, rather than waiting, I can lessen the amount of work I have to do tomorrow. So, for now, we're going to do two things. One of which is going to be taking the plenum apart and hopefully getting the tubes off. And then that'll leave us with less things I have to do tomorrow. Of course, that light don't work. But anyway, I will go ahead, gather my tools up, and we'll get in over here and get started. All right. I finally did find where I put my long T40 bit. I've also got the short T40 because I'll need the short T40 whenever I have to go in behind underneath the distributor over here. But this time I'm going to try the long one and actually try to get in there without having to use the screwed up extension over there. Whenever I say screwed up, this is what I was working with to originally get it apart. It is bent and ground down so that it wobbles and sits at an angle. But anyway, first order of business is going to be getting all of these deals off of here, unplugging, and getting the tubes off. So, go ahead and get our, look here, oh, right. I forgot. This thing was in a bad position. Well, let's see if I have a 5/16. That's too small. But I believe in my handy dandy trusty toolkit, I should have it. Oh, I only have a 10. Well, crud muffins and biscuits. know I've got an 8mm wrench somewhere. The key word here is somewhere. Usually I'm a lot more organized and I have all my stuff in one spot. But this is just one of those days. This is a 3/8, I believe. Yeah. Well, 3/8, 3/8. Well, there's a 9. It's a 5/16. 5/16. 5/16. 5/16. Why do I have so many 5/16? Alright, fine. Let's try the 3/8. Although I am skeptical. Yeah, too small. Or too big. Sorry. My brain is not braining today. 5/16. It might actually be the 5/16. Because of course it is. I don't exactly know what this thing does, but... Oh, okay. Now we need this 10mm and my ratchet, which is in here. I completely forgot to bring back. Whenever it comes to the fuel issue, I'm going to get 5 gallons. That's something I forgot to do on my way back from work. Forgot to get 5 gallons of fuel. I'd even put the fuel jug in my car this morning and completely forgot about it. I was also going to drive the square body today, but that didn't happen. Alright, hold on. Alright, I got it off. Now, order of operations on this. I'm not sure of the exact order of operations. I'm just going to show you as I go along. Because I'm not sure even I remember all of it. Now, there's supposed to be 3 bolts on this, but I think I dropped one down in there somewhere. And I completely forgot where it went. But, I think about it. There was also bolts down here for the panel that goes along here, but I have no idea where those went either. I'll replace them. Anyway, task at hand. So, on this, you're going to have 3 throttle cables. You'll have this, which goes to your cab as you push on the accelerator. Actually, I think this is, yeah, this is the one. This is the one from the cab. I'm not sure what this one is. I believe this one goes, yeah. So this is your cruise control. This is from your pedal. And this might be the TV cable on the transmission. But there's supposed to be an E-clip on here. You can use a flathead screwdriver to get that off. I kind of sort of lost mine. So I'll have to replace it with something. But basically, you take all those off of there. Really easy to memorize where they go after you get them off. So don't be too worried about memorizing where they are. Now this is where it gets you most difficult. Oh, Father just got home. Alright. Off position. You get in here. And you will take off. Oh. Alright. I'll get you on here. Alright. There's supposed to be 3 bolts, as I said, but I lost one, but doesn't really matter. But, yeah, you get those off. And we're just going to hang them down over here for now. But now we get into hoses on the other side, I believe, is the next step. No. 1, course, that one isn't fully connected. Which, what the hell? I'm gonna have to take that off too again. Anyway, pop this off. All right, here's your TPS, your throttle position sensor. You get that unplugged, and down here, and I'm not sure what sensor that is. Ow! Ah. That's probably gonna draw some blood. Ah, little red Corvette. I can't speak. The little red Corvette demanded the blood sacrifice. All right. With those unhooked, now we're going to get started on disassembling this plenum. Now you'll have to take these vacuum lines off, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Just to save me less headache. And I'm going to bandage my finger real quick, and I'll get started on taking this apart and showing you how to do it. Good old mechanic wrap. Anyway, now we'll get our 10 mil off of here. And hopefully I'm not forgetting anything other than what's already underneath of the plenum. But we'll set this aside. Get our T40 bit, which is a Torx 40 bit, and that will be for all the hex bolts that's in this. Ugh. And then pop it right here onto our ratchet. And we will get these all off. And I'm gonna grab, actually now that I think about it, I don't even know if my tripod is up here. Oh, I really don't remember. Been too long. Ow. Yeah, I don't think I even brought it up here whenever I was first working on this. Of course, you got a big ol' mess. Yay. Yeah, I don't think I have my tripod up here. So I'm just gonna set you up somewhere. So I know it's not the best place to set you up, but you're gonna have, random toothbrush. Anyway, you're gonna have 4 bolts on the top of the plenum, which are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same way on the other side. So we'll go ahead and get these out. Why did I switch that onto the on position? Ow. And remember, when it's Torx bit, they are known to break or strip out very easily. So be careful. It's a bad day whenever you have to extract one of those. Speaking from experience. Just get them all loose and I'll figure out with just the extension. Pop this off the bracket. I never did get this all the way taken apart. I know that there was a there was a couple of these bolts I never did get taken out on the on this side of the intake tubes anyway. And I just dropped that in the top of the engine. Awesome. Not in the engine, but close enough. I am going to have to be careful when it comes to the gaskets because I don't have replacement gaskets and I don't want to have to buy replacement gaskets. Alright, It's still a little tight. Because I don't have the money to afford new gaskets. Hell, I barely have enough money to afford all these new parts. Yeah, this one's in there pretty fucking tight. Alright, that's one side. So now I'll go ahead and get the other side out, and I'll show you exactly what you gotta do once you get those 4 bolts out on each side. Alright, all 4 bolts are taken out on each side. At this time, I'm gonna go ahead and get rust in there. Okay. Of course, that's not metal. That's not. Well, sure. We'll go ahead and collect up all of what we got. That's 3. Where's number 4? Ain't in my pocket. Is this the one I had that I dropped one in the engine? No. Oh, right. I already dropped one. Forgot. All right. Well. Go ahead. Boom. And where's the bolts for... Oh, that's that one bolt I was just looking for earlier. There's wrenches. A random cap. Oh, right. They were right here. Okay. All right. So, what you're going to want to do, this is going to be a little easier for me this time. Now, I don't have a hood that's going to fall on my shoulder. Oh, you're going to want to go ahead and pull up. It might be a little stiff, but still. And that's only because I've already had it apart. All right. And it did come off that tube. All right. So you'll get it up. You're going to have a vacuum line down here. There's some sort of like vacuum type thing over there. I'm not sure what it does, but anyway. I don't believe there's anything else down up here that we have to disconnect. I think it's all from the back. All right. So I'll see if I can get you in here so you can see it, but right there is the fitting that runs to this hose that goes and powers your vacuum brakes. Well, that's going to be a 5/8, and you just want to get in here and see if I can hook it, pop it loose. Luckily that was easy, but now it's just time consuming of getting it off. And this can be very aggravating because it does get very time consuming. Some people have line wrenches that'll do this faster, but I don't get that luxury. I don't even think I have a 5/8 line wrench. But considering I just had this apart, this actually might be just pretty loose, so. Never mind. Where'd my wrench go? I wonder what Shania Twain's doing today. Oh. Oh. Yes. It is loose. It's not loose enough that I can turn it by fingers. This is probably the most time-consuming part of it, is just getting this off. Because there's not an easy way to get it. Because it's on the back side. And since Dad just got home, he did bring the fuel pressure gauge. So once we get the new fuel pump and everything back together, we'll be able to test the fuel pressure once we have it all back together. It just hooks straight onto the Schrader's valve, and you can test your actual PSI from there. I think it just let loose. Not quite yet. I might end up having a couple friends over to help out, because I will need someone whenever I go to put this back together. I'll have to have one person to hold up the plenum while I put this in. Alright. Alright. Now that that's loose, there is only one plug under here underneath the plenum. Ow. And it's right there. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect it and get it off, just for the simple fact that I'll be out of the way now. Alright, plenum's off. So now we get to do the long process of getting stuff out of the way to access the bolts we need to access and get the vacuum lines. I'm not going to worry about them. Your fuel lines are going to be right down there, which also means I'm going to have to do this again. Get that off. Get off the third one. There. Lay that back down there where I laid it last time. That's going to go down there. And a random hose clamp. Sweet. And wiring, I had tucked away down there. Getting this hose off is going to be a pain. Alright. Now, can't remember if I actually had to take this off. I don't believe so. Never mind. There's one right down there. Alright. So first things first. God, I can't remember what size I needed. Never mind, it's right there. Okay. So, right down here, ignore the fact that my finger's still bleeding and I took the wrap off. This plug kind of, it was like that whenever I got the car. I know it relates somewhat to this thing. I just don't know why. It's this sort of vacuum thingamabob. I don't know. I'll unplug that, which, surprisingly enough, goes into the plenum. There's also another one that's already in the plenum, which I went ahead and set over there. But then I'll have this rubber piece. This rubber piece, you can just pull right off of the little block. There. And now you have direct access to that thermostat bolt. I'll just reach around here. Pop off our Torx and grab it before it falls into the void. All right. It's going to be a 14 millimeter. I'll just go ahead and okay. This is going to be the most time-consuming part of all of this. I guarantee it. So I have to take both of these sets of tubes off. All right. Thermostat bolt is right there. And this thing comes as a whole assembly. I'm not sure exactly what it does. If anyone knows what this actually does, bleep bloop it in the comments. Because I have no clue. Anyway, now. Right. So we're going to go ahead and knock these loose. As I get it loose and almost throw the wrench. That's bending. I don't like that. Hold on. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get started on these tubes. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop our 14 millimeter back off of this. Boop. Grab our T40. All of these torques on this plenum, all of these deals is going to be a T40. So it's really easy. You just got to make sure you have the right tools. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this first one just to make this job so much easier. Because it is kind of a pain. I'll have to get you off of this for a minute. All right, quick update. Went ahead and got this set off. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, there is a few things you have to remove. So there's this hose that if I had it just dropped into the bowels of hell. Okay, so it'll sit in this like that, and there'll be a tube that's right back here that bends down and it goes into this. And a tube will go across this, and there's two 8mm studs that are screwed in right here and right here. And to get to them, you have to take this off. And right here is the tube. Get a general idea of what it looks like. And you'll get that off. And then you have easy access to all of these bolts. There is 6 in total. There's one here. There's one here. There's the top one up here, which is the one that we took out from the back. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one right there. And after you get all that off, get the bolts out. And then you can easily pretty much just get it right out of there. I prefer to tilt it backwards, and then forwards, and then up and out. That way it breaks the contact with the gaskets. It has 2 different gaskets, so it's easy to tell which one goes where. And they actually are supposed to have little studs right here, so that you can go ahead and set them where they're supposed to be. Put the new part on, your tubes back on, and the gasket will actually stay where it's supposed to. Really cool about the 80s. That's something I really do like about these cars, is they actually were thinking about the average person and who had to work on the cars. Same thing like this. Take out these 4 screws and 9 10mm bolts on this, and pop it right out. Boom, you have access to your fuel pump. And you don't have to drop your tank like everything else. All right, now, I'm going to get started on this one. It's the same process. I'm not going to record it, just for the simple fact that I've got to crawl on through there. There are a few videos online. I'm not going to actually show you because it's a pain in the butt, and I might get mad and start cussing. I'd rather not get demonetized. So, we'll get that set of tubes off, and then there's one line in the back side of the fuel rail that I've got to get off, and then there's 4 10mm bolts on the fuel rail, and it should pop right off. Well, I am now thinking that I am regretting having to take this apart, that was a pain in the butt to get off. But we've got the injector rail off now. And now I can, whenever I'm ready, start getting these installed. If I'm not mistaken, these things actually have 4 jets rather than the single that this one has. And as you can see, these things were not pretty at all. So I think what happened is either something from a tank or something that was already in the fuel lines actually got into this. That didn't help that I didn't have a fuel sock on, or a fuel strainer. For those who don't know, it's one of these. Just attaches onto the end of your fuel pump and filters any debris or anything that's in your engine or in your fuel tank. So I think that something from the tank got sucked into the line, somehow got past the filter, came up through in here, and clogged all of the injectors from the backside. But that's one less thing I gotta do tomorrow. I know one thing's for goddamn sure. I am not putting this back bolt back in. Screw that. Too much more work than it's worth. I will, however, put all of these bolts back in because they were fine. But fuck that back one. Anyway, I think for tonight, I'm going to go ahead and quit and have my phone fully charged tomorrow and hopefully remember where everything goes. This thing's a nightmare. But anyway, I will get back to you guys. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm absolutely tired. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And we'll get started on, I believe the next thing is fuel pump. So I will do fuel pump. And then from that moment on, I will get the fuel filter off and then blow out the lines from here on back. And from there on back. That way, everything's blown out. And it's ready to start back up. I will get the injectors off. Which I gotta be really careful because I did not get new clips. I don't think anyway. Yeah, it didn't come with new clips. But yeah, nice, new, and shiny. And then I gotta cut and solder that onto the fuel pump. Anyway, enough rambling. I'm gonna go get some rest. And we will get that, as well as everything else done. And as well, tomorrow I will go ahead and pull the battery, get it charged. Because as you saw in the last video, whenever we went to pull it in, you could see the one light that it has slowly die out. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, day 2. Just a quick recap. Last night we went ahead and we got the injector rail and injectors, everything, all of that out. I brought ahead and brought it down to the house. I'm going to do the injectors down there. At least the reassembling of everything. That way I'll have my dad around so that I don't screw up putting the new ones in. So for now, what we're going to do now is grab my 10 mil, grab my, great question, where did I put my ratchet? I'm hoping I remember where I need to put all these vacuum lines. I'm random umbilical cord clamp from where I work. And then upon further inspection, I actually rewatched the video I originally had to take this apart. I only had to remove this runner. You can actually just loosen up the one over there on the driver's side and then just grab the bolt and then take it all apart. Did I do that? No. Because some people, like me, just aren't very bright. So, now we're going to go ahead and get the fuel pump out. And go ahead, rebuild it, blow out the get the fuel filter off, blow out everything, and start getting all of that taken apart. Now, to get that fuel door thingamabob off, I can't remember exactly what size it needs. For some reason I have a T27 on that. I'm gonna find my T15 or a T10. To be honest, I don't quite remember. What's this? This is my T15. I'll roll with it. Alright. So, unfortunately, I don't have power, so this might be a little difficult, but I'll get you in here. I'll show you what you got to do. Alright. So, you'll have a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt back there, a bolt back there, and stock, you'll have a little dust cover over here. I went ahead and took it out, and I didn't put it back in, just because, why not? But you just go ahead. It is a T15, I think is what I got. Yep. And you just get these screws out. Now I'm really thinking about this. I gotta redo the wiring inside of the pump, which is gonna be a pain. Right, there's two. These are the ones that are harder. Usually, you can just pop this hatch, but since the battery's dead, I can't pop it. Because it's an electric release. I mean, that's actually what I did last time. Was I had the back glass popped up and propped up with a rod. But anyway, you'll take these 4 bolts out. I'm gonna go ahead and get these last 2 out, so I have both hands, and then I'll show you what you have to do when you get down in here. All right, all 4 screws are out. Now all you have to do, pull that up. And of course, there's gonna be a little debris in there. I don't know if we have the vacuum up here. We might. Or not. I don't know where it is. Probably in the bin. I don't know. Anyway, next step to go. You're going to want to get all these fuel lines off. There's 3 in total. There's one over here. There's one right here. And there's one right up top. You don't have to worry about this wiring connector. You just disconnect this and it comes out with it. So we'll just disconnect that right there. But we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We don't have any up top. Which is a little worrisome, but honestly, for the sake of this fuel tank, I won't have to worry about it because I'm not going to drive it very long. Just long enough to make sure that we get some good drivability out of it. So we'll get this bolt out, that bolt out. I've got one down there at the bottom and that one right there. But originally you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'll have 9 total. It is a 10 mil. And you can easily get in here. But I'm gonna get my screwdriver, get in here, crack this. This one is gonna be your actual fuel feed. Down there is gonna be your return line, or no. Right here is the line that goes down underneath of the car. And it actually pops back up somewhere over here. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna have to remember where all this goes. Pretty sure it goes into this, and this goes into that, which I kind of split this open. We're gonna have a little bit of a vacuum leak there, but oh well. Anyway, but that fuel line ends up going down in here somewhere, right here. Goes into this canister here. Not sure why, but grab our pliers. But return, fuel feed, and this should just be a vapor, which is why it doesn't have a nose clamp on it like the rest of them. Get that. That didn't work. All right, I'm gonna get these lines off and I'll check back with you. Alrighty. All fuel line. Okay. Anyway. Bolt for me right here. And honestly, this has to be the best design on Corvettes. It's just a simple fact that you don't have to drop the tank or do anything fancy like that to get it out. Honestly, if this thing wasn't so bad, I would sit there and I would finish fixing this and I would just drive it. But it just seems too far gone. That's a ground one. Oh. So that's the fuel pump ground. Okay. This is a pain in my ass. Well, that went into Neverland. I have no clue where that just went. Found it. All right, last one, right here. Again, this is just for me, just because I broke 5 of the 9 bolts. All right. Now, what I do, I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug up. So, get our fuel line out of the way. And it normally won't be this loose. It'll usually be pretty tough, but the basic logistics of it, grab here, pull up. Ow. And twist, and out we come. Yeah, that was my setup, is I just had that little piece there. Oh, and I just poured fuel all over myself. Well, too bad I wasn't able to reuse the clip. It looks like this one has already been cut before and repaired. So I will have to repair and now I think about it, right there, that's the sending unit wire. I'm pretty sure. No, that's positive. Yeah. No, that is the sending unit wire. That's cut right there. Granted, I kind of maneuvered it out of there. Anyway, we're going to set this over here, let it aerate out. Let it air out and drain so that there's no fuel in the system itself. And that way I can just get this off and I can begin putting in the new one. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get a jack over here and jack up this side of the car, or just the car in general. Get under here, get the fuel filter off, and I will blow out all the lines, and then once I have everything reassembled, I will then put everything back together, and then we should have a running car. Should. All right, fuel pumps back together, injector rails back together, thanks to some help from Bulldog. And so now we are going to get the fuel filter off, go ahead and blow out the line, and which means I need to turn this on.
You're going to need new fuel pumps.
Because for some reason it has no air pressure.
Oh, actually, you might be good on the fuel lines.
Fudge.
I'm surprised those fuel lines aren't cracked.
They are. It's only in one.
Cracked farther down.
Yeah, there's a hole in this one, I think. Well, this one was bad.
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
So this one is the return line. This is your fuel vapor line,
Yeah.
which goes right here, which goes to this, which is your fuel vapor. This is your fuel feed, and this is your return.
No, I know what it is. I just didn't see that other one.
But no, it's cracked. Yeah, right there. I think. Probably. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the air turned on.
Still haven't figured out how to pop out.
It's a power antenna.
Well, yeah.
You got to hook 12 volts to it.
But what wire?
It's going to be up in here.
But it also should run up all the way to the radio.
Should.
The radio's not in it, but where's the wire for the antenna?
Good question. Anyway, we'll get the air turned on, get air pressure back in here, and we'll blow out from here forward. Or no. Blow out from back there to the tank. And we'll go ahead and drop this in there. I've already cut and crimped on the new connector, fuel sock, pump, line, which means I can just take all of this back out and unscrew these two deals and drop everything, and it can go right into the Firebird when I'm ready. Now, let's get some work done. It's been like 2-3 hours maybe, and I'll show you our progress real quick. As I stated, we got the injectors on. I went ahead and got the fuel rail on, fuel pumps in. I did not actually replace the fuel filter because it was a pain in the butt. I could not even get the other fitting off.
It's not
And now it's even more of a pain in the butt because now I can't get the other the fitting that was actually coming off back in. So, and a huge thanks to Bulldog for helping me get this all put together. We went ahead and we are in. Unfortunately, it does not want to move at all. But
Well, technically, that's a good thing.
so now I will go ahead, route that back up in there. Actually, now that I think about it. Oh. Which one of these goes to the fuel pressure regulator? This one. Nope, only this one. That goes there. This goes into the plenum. And there's another one that came up from somewhere.
It would come up from over there.
I think so.
Well, that's what the diagram says.
Yeah, we got one that's supposed to come up. That went to a little piece that broke off like this.
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
No, this is the one for the EGR.
Oh, yeah,
I can't remember where the EGR one went.
Oh. Found it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll look up a deal for it, but it probably not important. Even then, I've got some vacuum line up there, and I'll replace it. I'll figure it out. But for now, I went ahead and just took this out and just shoved a screw down in there. But I wouldn't take that out because you're gonna be scared at the color of the oil. Black.
That's a big black. You.
Yeah, I was running a bit rich. Anyway,
Yep.
now I'm gonna work on getting this in. By the way, folks, don't ever do what I did, because I kind of destroyed a few things. Oh, screw you! Anyway, I'll update you in a minute. All this is back together. Kind of fought me in a couple areas. That, I'm going to cap that off because it literally, according to this, right here is our plenum. And right here, that one went to our fuel pressure regulator. And I believe that one is just an EGR valve, which we do not need. So, and I already capped off the EGR, so, or basically screwed off. But anyway, I went ahead and rehooked our positive wire that goes into our deal in there, and it looks like it's still got good. So now all we have left to do is the fuel filter. The fuel filter in particular is going to be an absolute pain. I'm probably going to get Bulldog up here or something, because I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I've never actually changed the fuel filter. There was one point back when we still had our lift in here. There was my first truck, actually, 1996 GMC Sonoma. It was a decent truck for 340,000 miles that I blew the engine in. But I ended up having to do a bit of fuel work to it. But yeah, that's the closest to fuel work I've ever actually done. So this is actually completely new to me. But I'm going to go ahead and get the intake hose, or the air box, I guess, put back on, and we'll go ahead, get the fuel filter changed, and then let the battery charge, and I'm going to dump 5 gallons of fresh gas in it because my dumbass decided it was going to be a great idea to put 2-cycle oil into it, which, yes, will make it lubricating everything, but I better take the safe side. So I will see you once we get the fuel filter all put together, and I will record first start, I guess. Alrighty, I got the fuel filter in. We got everything over here. I believe that's a little loose, a little bit worrisome, but it ain't gonna affect anything. I do need to, however, find each one of these clips for this, because I can't remember how it goes to. So this is the one I need to get a clip on. So I'm gonna go search around, see if I can't find one of those clips. I believe I have a few laying around, but I just need to make sure that that stays on. And then I'll get the breather back on here, and then we'll see what happens whenever I try to turn the key. And we'll be listening for fuel pump. We'll be listening for click in the relay. And we'll be testing for pressure at the fuel rail. And making sure that we got the right amount of pressure. And hopefully the fuel regulator is, well, regulating. However, real quick, I am going to put... freaking hate these new gas cans. We'll just put a little bit more in here, but as you can see right here, original Indiana car, built in Kentucky, and is now, I picked it up in Illinois, and now it's in Missouri. So, yeah, we'll get this done, and we'll see what happens when I turn the key. All right, moment of truth here. I've got my wire going to the ECM plugged in. So when I turn this key, okay, why am I not hearing a fuel pump? Okay. Fuse is still good. All right, it was just a bad connection on the ECM. Okay, I just heard it. So let's test for fuel pressure over here. Air. Okay. Key off. Okay, that's not gonna actually do anything. That time I heard a little bit. Here. That's much, much better. So I'm gonna put that back on. All right. So now, this is the moment of truth here. After a long time of waiting, let's try it. Okay, why are we not getting nothing? Huh. Okay, now I'm worried. Well, son of a gun. We've got fuel. And we've got everything else. All right, let me look it over. All right. Let's try it. Not turning over quite fast enough. Just for the simple fact. Come on. Come on, old girl. Got a lot of hissing. Not sure why. Come on, stay running. All right. So, I'm just going to let that battery charge. And I'm going to track down exactly what's making that hissing. And see if that's a problem. Because it's a slight worrisome for me. Well, that took forever! Well, hello there! Awesome!
Let's go!
Oh.
Can I give it a rev?
No. Right now, it's gotta sit here and run for a little bit because that's smoky already. Awesome. Question is it charging itself? Oh wait, I already turned that off. So it's charging at 14.6 there. It's the exhaust. It'll be that way for a little bit. What'd you touch?
Nada, I literally just went, like, didn't even move this and it killed it. It shut off.
Alright. Well, let's switch that to volts. Put that on average. And have that at oil pressure. So we can see our oil pressure and see what we got. But that's great. Let's try it again. All right. That's significantly better. Let's try something real quick. Well, I just drove. And I have a feeling that this wire keeps coming unhooked. Come on. Oh, come on. So I think that's our issue right now. The ECM wire keeps on coming unhooked, so I'm going to have to find something that'll actually stay in there. But, yeah, she's a runner. All right, there we go. Yeah, it died. All right, hold on. All right, so I went ahead and bled the brakes all the way around because I was having some issues with not being able to stop. That's why there is now a line right here, and the jack was sitting here, and why all that now is shoved over there because I kind of ran into it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and get this hood back on so that I have a headlight and take it out for a quick spin and see how it holds up with the ECM now being twisted together. Now I actually have, instead of the alligator clip, I just took that wire and stripped it off and cut the wire to the ECM because I'm not going to need that, I don't think. Hopefully I don't. But I left myself enough length. If I have to fix it, I can. But that's all done. The VATS wire, apparently it doesn't need it after it's running. It's just, once it's running, it's running. So, now, the only issue that we have is the fact that now the thermostat, you can kind of hear it hissing in there, but it was throwing some issues. But yeah, I'm gonna top that off now. Hopefully I didn't use all of that brake fluid. And we got a little bit left. It looks like we got plenty. Actually, I might have more on our square body out here. I've done a couple of, I think I had a video where I used this. Might have been the last one. But I might have. Okay, maybe I don't. Unless it's in toolbox. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I have any. I think I used it all. But anyway, and I'm telling you, that thing has power. But anyway, I'll check with you guys in a minute, and we'll fire it up one more time after I get the hood on and try and pull it out so I can actually see. All right. Well, our security light is blinking. How do you see? Oh, those are Delco Bose. If I had a radio. Listen to some sweet jams. Anyway, I extended the wires over to that switch we were using. So now I have those. If only any of these actually worked. I think it might just be a blower motor. Anyway, down there, we've got the positive wire to the ECM actually twisted on. As for the VATS wire, it's still in there. And once I have it running, I'll just unplug that. Yeah, I did find this. It plugs in, but it doesn't turn an ignition. None of the seat controls work. Kind of wish they did. But now, let's just pull this out. And now, we'll try and start it up. Go for a ride. She's had a lot. She needed a quick smoke. But went out there, did a quick burnout. It was fun. It stripped off some rubber. And she peeled. But, in all actuality, there's only one real issue left. And that's the thermostat gasket, for some reason, isn't sealing. So I'm going to address that. But honestly, for right now, I think that's going to do it for this video. We got the main issues that I wanted to get tackled. Now, it'll start up. It'll sit there. It'll run. It'll idle. So, next video, I'm going to possibly go ahead and get a couple new bolts, because I know that the one bolt is actually for a 70s truck thermostat, and I'm going to go ahead and replace the other one, because for some reason, I don't know why, but it skipped a thread. So I'm going to go ahead, and my dad actually showed me how to use these helicoils to help repair threads. I'll find some for that thread pitch. I'll have to figure out exactly what thread pitch it is, and I will repair that as well as replace the thermostat gasket. But other than that, she's a strong runner. I'm going to have to address why it slams itself into gear, and then possibly a couple other things. Other than that, that's probably going to be it on the Corvette. And basically just driving, kind of. But I have to admit, this has been a little fun revival. It is. Honestly, I have to admit, and this is really hard for me to admit, but that's the most horsepower I've ever had. And it gets up and goes. I love it. But it was, as soon as I stepped on the throttle, I loved it. But yeah, we got our old fuel filter. It's junk. Anyway, car's running. Car drives. At the current moment, I'm not going to take it down the road yet. I'm going to address the coolant issue, and then we will do our first actual test drive. I'm going to also order it's like a mount for your phone that you can just go ahead and attach onto your window or whatever. And then I'm going to attempt to fix the plexiglass deal for the top and put it back on. Basically, I'm just going to duct tape it together, honestly. But better than the other people had it, because it was like masking tape. And it wasn't holding it together. But that's all for this video for now. We'll continue on the Corvette once I get a couple other parts and some helicoils so I can repair that damaged thread, and we'll get it done, and then we'll take it for a drive. I'm also going to put the other headlight assembly back in just so it looks decent. As soon as I figure out what bolts are what, because there was a few laying around, but in all actuality, I'm going to use those motors if I can get them to work. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, get notified when I post, and I'll talk to you next time.